Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome, dear learners. This is a video for the subject of education for the course of Bachelor's in Education and for the paper of Conceptual Foundations of Education. Here we are going to have a discussion on philosophical basis of education, and in this lecture we will be discussing the educational ideas of Jiddu Krishnamurti. This video has been recorded by Dr. Iram Khan. The course coordinator and the presenter for this video is Dr. Iram Khan from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. The academic expert or the reviewer for this video is Professor Jasim Ahmed from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. This video is produced under the project DTH Swayam Prabha channels of MHRD or the Education Ministry of Government of India. Hello dear students. Today we are going to have a discussion on philosophical basis of education, and we will be discussing the educational ideas of Jiddu Krishnamurti. I am Dr. Iram Khan, Assistant Professor at IASE, Faculty of Education, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. So first of all, let us see the educational objectives of this lecture, which we have to discuss. The objectives of this session will be to discuss the life history of Jiddu Krishnamurti, to explain the various educational ideas of Krishnamurti in terms of his philosophy of education, to elaborate the significance of the ideas of Jiddu Krishnamurti with respect to education in our country. So let us start with the life sketch or a brief life history of Jiddu Krishnamurti. He was a philosopher, a speaker and writer, and he was born in 1895. In his early life, he was groomed to be the new world teacher, but later he rejected this mantle and withdrew from the theosophy or the organization of this theosophical society, which was behind this particular process. His interests included psychological revolution, the nature of mind, meditation, inquiry, human relationships, and bringing about radical change in society. Krishnamurti stressed the need for a revolution in the psyche of every human being, and he emphasized that such revolution cannot be brought about by any external entity, be it a religious entity or a political or a social entity. Krishnamurti was born in the southern part of our country, which is Andhra Pradesh. In his early adolescence, he met a very renowned person of that time, who was a theosophist. His name was Charles Webster Leadbeater. Charles Webster Leadbeater, on the grounds of the Theosophical Society headquarters at Adyar in Madras. He was subsequently raised under the guardianship of Annie Besant and Leadbeater. They were the leaders of the society at the time who believed him means they believed in Krishnamurti to be a vehicle for an expected world teacher. So you can see that what kind of expectation these people were having from Krishnamurti. But Krishnamurti at some point of time has not actually believed in this idea, and he took himself out from this basic idea of being a world teacher or being a theosophist. Krishnamurti said he had no alliance to any nationality, caste, religion, or philosophy, and he spent the rest of his life traveling the world, speaking to large and small groups, as well as to different individuals. Krishnamurti has written many books, and among those, the book titled as The First and Last Freedom. Then there was a book called The Only Revolution, and Krishnamurti's Notebook are few to mention. There are many, but these are considered as very important, which need to be mentioned here. And many of his talks, because he was delivering his talks and his ideas at most of the places in India and throughout the world. So many of his talks and discussions have been published. Krishnamurti died in 1986, but his supporters, his followers, who were working through the non-profit foundations in India, in Great Britain, and in United States, uh, even outside the country, several independent schools based on Krishnamurti's views on education are being established by his followers and are being run by his followers. His followers continue to transcribe and distribute his thousands of talks, the group and individual discussions, and writings by the use of variety of media formats and different languages. The translations are being done, and these discussions, these writings, and these talks are being distributed throughout the world since then till today by the followers who are actually ardently following his school of philosophy. Let us have a look on the educational philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti. By expressing his views on God, Jiddu Krishnamurti said, "If your heart is full of love, then no need to search the God anywhere because love is God." He at once he quoted that real meaning of life can be realized by education and truth can only be established by education. So by these words you can just have a look and we can even just see that what are the reflections of Krishnamurti on the importance of education. He further emphasized on balanced development of the human personality. He believed life is not static and changes should be as per the need of time, environment, and situations of the learners. So these are few of those words in which we can just have a look on the educational philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti. Let us have a look on the educational thoughts of Jiddu Krishnamurti, because his educational thoughts are very important if we want to understand the basic ideology or the basic philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti, which he was following throughout his life and which he wanted to be the ethos of the educational system in our country and even overseas. So there are few of those things which we need to mention here. Here the first one is that the main aim of education should be the development of spirituality among human beings. Here we have to understand that what actually he means by spirituality. By spirituality, he does not mean becoming slaves of any religion, but he actually wanted that it should encompass gaining knowledge of reality through self-realization and self-analysis. So you can see that there is a different meaning of spirituality according to Krishnamurti. Then, use of scientific discoveries and technical education should not be for destroying of human civilization. It should be for the welfare of human being. Then he says that creativity should be developed among children by education. liberal and fearless environment should be provided to our children for taking self decision. So he was very much keen towards making the student uh, able to take self decisions. Then he exclaimed, or he has given the view that aim of education should be to spread love for human being and nature. The concept spirit of diversity as strength, not as a weakness, needs to be spread among the minds of the young child. So you can see here that this concept of the spirit of diversity as strength and not as weakness, actually he is giving a lot of emphasis, and he says that it should be spread among the young minds and among the young childrens, so that they can be the bearers of love, of spreading love amongst the human beings and also towards the nature. So in this way he expresses his educational thoughts, the educational philosophy which he followed. So these are few of those ethos, or those statements which actually reflect the educational thoughts of J.K. Murthy or Jiddu Krishnamurti. Then, if we talk about the several schools, or according to him, the educational centers, uh, which he founded around the world, including the Brockwood Park School, which is an international educational center. When anybody asked him, he enumerated few of the educational aims. Basically, whatever schools or whatever educational centers he has founded, he was having a very kind of clear idea that what will be the aim of the education which is to be imparted by these educational centers. So let us just have a look on all those educational aims which he actually thought of to be there through these international educational centers founded by him. Here, the first aim considered by him is the global outlook. What exactly he means by global outlook? A vision of the whole as distinct from the part. There should be never be a sectarian outlook, but always a holistic outlook free from all prejudice. So basically, he talks about the completeness and not taking interest into the part, but the whole. We have to see that what is the idea which is floated in front of us in a holistic way or through a holistic outlook. So the first one is the global outlook. Then the second one is the concern for man and the environment. What exactly it means? Humanity is part of nature, and if nature is not cared for, it will boomerang on man. Basically, whatever we give to the nature, it comes back to us. So it will be just like a boomerang. So if we give bad things, only bad things will come back to us. And just opposite, if we do good things for the nature, only good things will come back to us. So only the right education and deep affection between people everywhere will resolve many problems, including the environmental challenges. So according to him, deep affection between people and a kind of deep love for the environment is going to solve many problems which are related to the human beings and their conflicts between them, and even the environmental challenges. So this is the second one, which is concerned for man and the environment. Then the third one, which is religious spirit, which includes the scientific temper. So the religious mind is alone, but it is not lonely. It is the communion with people and nature. People and nature. What exactly he means by this? That the religious mind, basically here this word religious is not actually meaning that exactly those cultural aspects of the religion. Basically it says that if we are involved in any work in a religious manner, uh, the mind of ours will not be alone, and uh, it will be basically not a lonely personality which we are going to produce in front of anybody. Basically, if we work hard, we do things in a scientific way with a scientific temperament, we will be in a very close coherence with human beings, the other human beings, and also with the nature or the environment. The Krishnamurti Foundation, which was established in 1928 by Jiddu Krishnamurti and Annie Besant, runs many schools in India and abroad, and basically he called his schools as the educational centers. So we can say that a lot of different educational centers are running through the Krishnamurti Foundation, which was established by Jiddu Krishnamurti and Annie Besant in 1928. Let us have a look on the curriculum and methods of teaching which were recommended by or which were talked about by Jiddu Krishnamurti. He basically suggested that the curriculum should be according to the interest of the children. So the subject and the content organization in the curriculum should be the basis of the principles of child psychology, by which a natural interest of child can be developed. Science and technology, sculpture, architecture, home science, industrial skills, literature, then game, these should be the part of the curriculum, and these should be studied under vocational education for earning livelihood. So in the curriculum there should be a place for art, poetry, and music for the development of creativity of the child. So maximum opportunity of education should be provided through activity and learning by doing. Children should be motivated for self-learning, and teachers should use the experimental methods, self-study method, scientific method, self-analysis, and playway method in the teaching learning process. So you can see that here a lot of things which are mentioned by him are taking us towards the ideology of learning by doing, self-realization, self-learning, self-study. So we can say that even self-discipline is the idea which he believed in, because if we are becoming a self-learner or a self-analysis is being done, then we recommend a type of discipline which is self-acquired. So in this way we can see that he has recommended a very kind of broad and free curriculum which has some sort of suggestions in terms of vocational education, in terms of earning the livelihood. As well, he has also mentioned few of those methods of teaching which seem to be very liberal and which seem to be very child friendly. Then let us have a look on the concept of teacher and the learner by Jiddu Krishnamurti. He emphasized that the teacher should be a complete human being. Basically, by the teacher, he means to be somebody who has all those attributes, who has all those good features in him or her. Complete human being implies that uh, that the qualities like consciousness, non-violence, and love should be very much there in this person who is going to become a teacher or who is working as a teacher. So teachers should not involve in casteism, in regionalism, and in any sort of prejudice. So The place of teacher is like a friend, a philosopher, and a guide. Then, according to him, students should have the qualities like the quality of love. Then he or she should be very much keen towards self-study. He should be or she should be polite. Then charity should be somehow the part of his or her personality. Then concentration and self discipline, these are those attributes which he said that a student should have. These qualities make a student a very kind of better human being in future. And you can see that here he is mentioning about self discipline, which is very much, if all these attributes, all those attributes which we just talk about regarding the student, if all these things are there, then automatically a kind of self discipline will be acquired. So then the main purpose of teacher should be to make a student an integrated and complete citizen who is good for the nation, who can be a fruitful being for the nation. So this he considered as the main purpose of the teacher who is basically involved in the process of teaching of these students. Talking about the consequences of Krishnamurti's view of humanity for education, on contrary to the perspective that has shaped much in conventional education, basically Jiddu Krishnamurti left that all people need to explore themselves and reveal themselves to, to their own, rather than be shaped into something by others. So basically he is talking a lot about self realization, self shaping of a human being's personality. This is not a new perspective, and if we look towards the different philosophers, uh, and again we can just have a look on the links of the educational theories of Rorschach, of Pestalozzi, of Froebel and Montessori. We can find some of the similarities uh, with their thought process and Krishnamurti's thought process. So the function of education then he considers is to help a person or a human being from childhood not to imitate anybody, but to be himself or herself all the time. So freedom lies in understanding what you are from moment to moment, what we are from one time to another time. So as soon as you start seeing that you are educated for your own good, and the education is basically encouraging you to become something or the other, basically the idea of education will be actualized. To understand life is to understand ourselves. So first of all, we have to introspect and we have to see that what exactly is the demand or is the liking which we have, and that is both the beginning and the end of education. So, modern education is making us into a thoughtless entity. It does very little towards helping up to find our individual vocation. Right education is to help us to find out for ourselves that what we really want with all our heart and what exactly we love to do. So it does not matter what is, whether it is to cook or to be garden. Basically, uh, what occupation we adapt is not important. Being a cook or being a gardener or being a driver is nothing to do with the thought process we actually are imparting. Basically, if whatever we want to, whatever is the liking, should be the occupation which we are going to adapt, and we have to find our uh, most important thing, which is the prestige in doing that profession, in living into that profession. But in is something in which you have put your mind and your heart, is something which you have to do or which you should be doing. and not those things which the other people who are surrounding you want you to do. So basically he was very keen of uh, when once the child is selecting a occupation or a vocation, it should be very much close to the heart of this child, or very much towards the liking and the process, the thought process, or the mind, the point of view which this child is having whenever we are asking a child to select his or her profession. It should be according to him or her, not to the people who are surrounding him or her. So it is in this context that Krishnamurti's engagement with education is of paramount significance, his emphasis on the relationship between education and society in terms of the transformational potential of education. This aspect of Jiddu Krishnamurti's teachings is the cornerstone of his educational thought and can make a significant contribution to evolving a sensible policy that concerns itself with change through right education. So if we look towards with a keen eye, we will find a lot of good things which are which look like revolutionary, but actually can make the change in our lives if we follow those good values which are enshrined in the educational philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti. So, with all these things, we have now just reached to a summary of Jiddu Krishnamurti's life. We have seen a lot of things which are related to his life history, and we have also seen that he was very much influenced by the idea of God and self-realization, self-assimilation, and a lot of things which are very much related to the personality's development, the development of a personality of a human being in the fullest. So, according to Krishnamurti's education, um, we have seen, and we actually go ahead and look towards the different literature which are developed by him, that the fullest development of the full human being was the main idea which was floated by Krishnamurti. From the full body of his work, we can conclude that for Krishnamurti, education is educating the whole person. And what exactly he means by this whole person? That all parts of the person, the complete personality. The second thing which he was mentioning, that educating the person as a whole. So first one was educating the whole person, and then educating the person as a whole. What does this mean? Not as an assemblage of parts. So here he is having a holistic view. Then he also mentioned that educating the person within a whole. What exactly this means? As a part of society, educating the person as a part of society, humanity, nature, etc. So from which it is not meaningful to extract that person. Basically, not a single person or a single human being can be imagined without the society or the humanity or the nature. So this is something which is intact with the personality. So for basically summarizing Jiddu Krishnamurti's approach to the nature of religiousness or religiosity, the nature of human beings, and the nature of education, we can observe what Krishnamurti said about the intentions of education, the physical nature of the places in which education occurs, and the participants in education, which are the students and the teachers. And we have seen that what exactly his imagination, his thought process actually worked on when we discuss the his ideas related to the learners and the teachers, and even the curriculum. We have seen that what kind of curriculum he has suggested for the educational system of our country and as well the overseas, because he was a very kind of person who was not only thinking of the nation, of the country, and of his own. Basically, he had an international perspective, and he stayed to many countries, and he basically roamed around a lot of countries. He visited a lot of places, so he has a very kind of world view regarding the educational process. The expression educational centers instead of schools is often the expression that Krishnamurti used. We have seen that um, he most of the times he is mentioning about the schools as the educational centers, and because the educational centers he founded were also meant to be places for adults to learn. So that's why most of the times we have seen that the schools which are constituted under the Krishnamurti Foundation, they are not considered as schools but the educational centers. So these were few of those things which are very much important once we are uh, talking about the educational philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti. These are few of those references and the suggested further readings which were discussed and which were seen by me, considered by me while developing this lecture. You can also go ahead and learn more by consulting these links and the books which are recommended here. And for today, this is all from my side, and let us see each other in another session some other time. Thank you so much. Dear students, you were watching a video on philosophical basis of education, and here in this lecture we discussed the educational ideas of Jiddu Krishnamurti. This video lecture was recorded by faculty at home during the national lockdown period for COVID-19 pandemic using minimal technical resources. Technical errors, if any, are unintentional and may please be ignored. For any queries with regard to this lecture or broadcast, kindly send your email to techsupport@dth.ac.in. Thank you so much.